up. This is the Survivor card, and it's the Warrior card, which has a lot to do with Aries archetypal energies. You guys are generally the warrior. And what this is saying is that maybe you don't always need to get knocked down to get back up. Maybe you're tired of enduring something, or tired of always having to look over your shoulder to see where the other person is coming from. It's really like, I call this my Cool Hand Luke card, because he keeps getting knocked down and keeps getting back up. But maybe you're coming out of that. Maybe you are coming out of some sort of survivorship or endurance, and maybe you're coming to a place where you don't feel like you have to always get knocked down to get back up. Usually in the Rider-Waite, he has a bandaged head. So I'm seeing you coming out, especially with that Six of Swords that popped out too in terms of healing and recovery. I'm seeing you coming out of some sort of situation where you just kept feeling like you were being bludgeoned from different angles, or, when you're in the ocean, if waves are constantly coming at you and pounding you and taking you under, that's kind of the energy of this card. So when I see it in reverse, I see you maybe coming out of something that feels like that. Here's what's in the shadow position. Again, that Three of Wands has come up twice already, and I haven't even begun to lay very many cards. That Three of Wands jumped out when I was shuffling this deck. So what's in the shadow is the unknown, what's not available to your consciousness right now, or it's not at the level of your consciousness, even though it's there, is the Visionary card. And this is a card of dreaming. I'm really tying this to the new moon in your 11th house of hopes and wishes, Aries, because this is about dreaming your empire and what you want to create. 3 is a creative number, and it's 3 of fire, which is your sign, your element, Aries. This is also a fire card. So what do you want to put your action towards? What do you want to create? That is under the surface right now, and it's like a seed right underneath the soil that wants to come up and spring up. So what seeds are you planting, especially around that new moon in your 11th house of hopes and wishes, Aries? Wonderful time to do that. So just let that germinate. Some of you may want to do some writing about setting your intentions about what you would like to draw to you. Or just even writing down, getting clear on what are your hopes and wishes. And that may help you envision what it is that you'd like to create that brings that to you. This card is also called your ships coming in. So this is like waiting for those ships that you've sent out to come in, to manifest. Like if the card before this, Two of Wands, is often called making fire, sending your ships out. And then this is when you've hit the other shore and you're ready for all those resources to come in so that you can build what you want. So that's what's underneath the surface. That's what's germinating below the surface of your consciousness. It's saying, take time to dream and create what it is you're wanting to draw to yourself. Again, new moon in Aquarius, hopes and wishes, perfect time to do that. Especially writing down and getting clear on what are your hopes and wishes. What's passing away is some sort of work. This is 8 of Coins. So 8 of Coins means grinding it out. It means having your nose to the grindstone. It can often mean producing money. But I'm just saying this is like work, work, work. So whatever you've been putting a lot of effort into, what feels like work, it may be as literal as like a job that's passing away, or it may be something that you've been putting a lot of effort into. That's going to be passing away. And I'm seeing, it's approaching 8 and 9 here, so something is completing and wrapping up, and you're feeling like you don't have to be defensive anymore. You don't have to stand your ground. You don't have to, watch things from all angles to fend off the next person. You're coming out of that, which is what I like. You may not, I'm seeing you coming out of struggle. Like this feels like work, effort, putting in the time and the energy, clocking the hours, all of that. Whatever you're putting it towards, whether it's a relationship or a job or whatever your task at hand is, this is saying, maybe I don't have to struggle. Maybe I don't have to always get knocked down and get back up. Maybe I don't have to be the survivor. You might be healing and recovering from that. And then ahead, you may be coming out of some sort of heartbreak or depression or sadness. I'm really seeing with this card, 5 of Cups, you turning around, doing like a 180. If you have been focused on some things that haven't brought you joy, some things that feel rather sad or depressive, or things that you lack, because this is usually a card of loss, especially emotional loss. If it was in the upright position, I would say that your focus is remaining there, on what you don't have. But with it in the reverse, I'm seeing that you're kind of turning around and looking at your relationship and what you have, or the two cups that are standing. The cups represent our hearts and what fills our hearts. So you may be turning around and saying, maybe I don't have all this stuff, but look at this wonderful relationship I have. Or I might have, this may have been losses from the past, but look at what I still do have. And maybe, in the Rider-Waite, one of these cups, one of my reader friends, Madame Pamita, pointed out to me that one of these is green in the Rider-Waite, which is poison. So it's sort of like maybe you missed out on some things, but maybe that was a good thing. Maybe you didn't end up drinking the cup with the poison in it. So it's talking about focusing on what it is that you do have, rather than the focus being on the loss, and almost experiencing gratitude for the two cups that are standing instead of losses from the past. So I see the influence that's coming in is really about you turning away from all the losses and disappointments, which is what Five of Cups is about, grief, sorrow, and kind of getting to this place of appreciation for what you have, Aries. It's really quite nice. And it also, as you do that, you welcome in room for more to come in. This is saying, your ship's coming in, envisioning what you want that to be, building something. It's almost like by showing appreciation for what you currently have, you make room for more. You let that grow. And then here's your highlighted energy is Judgment in reverse. I think I've seen this for you before, Aries, recently, maybe in the past month or two. Judgment in reverse has to do with a second chance, giving someone a second chance, releasing baggage from the past, especially as it has to do with our families or people that we're close to. And it has to do with forgiveness, either to ourselves or to others. And with Judgment in the reverse, it's telling me that you may be judging someone harshly or in an inaccurate way, and that you may need to apply some forgiveness to yourself in order to forgive or let go of whatever that harsh judgment is towards them. I'm really seeing that it needs to start with you, Aries. There's some things that you may hold yourself accountable for or accountable to that are preventing you from releasing these old stories. It's kind of keeping you bound up in this story, in this grave, essentially, where there's no life. So this trumpet with the fire represents the spiritual fire of forgiveness. And I'm going to invite you, even as difficult as it might be because it's in reverse, there's some fear, doubt, or resistance to employing that freeing energy of, or freeing action, I'll say, of forgiveness, because maybe it's become comfortable or familiar, and maybe these stories, these are old karmic stories from the past. This is old baggage, and maybe it's become comfortable or familiar to remain there, but there's great life. This is a great card of renewal. This is basically the trumpet sounding and saying there is new life. There's everyone come out of their graves. All the old stories, all the old karma gets cleared out with this spiritual renewing trumpet of fire, which is forgiveness. So you may be having a hard time giving someone a second chance. You may be having a hard time employing forgiveness, either towards yourself or someone else. I'm going to say actually towards yourself and someone else. And it may be hard to let go of a certain harsh judgment or critical judgment that's incorrect. It's in reverse. It's not a correct judgment. It's an incorrect judgment. And forgiveness towards yourself and then the other person is going to be what creates new life. And it lays the foundation for this new thing to be built. When we if you can imagine a graveyard full of graves and people, and it's cleared out, somehow it's just burned away. It's just made new by this forgiveness, by this spiritual fire. It's a miraculous energy. it lays the foundation. That's what this guy's looking at. He's looking at this open territory that he's kind of put his flags into and saying, okay, now this is my new country, this is my new land, what do I want to build? You kind of have to pass through this first, Aries. So those are your energies that you're working with. This is a major arcana card. So that I'm really getting this as highlighted for you, Aries. Really interesting. Using forgiveness to burn away the karmic stories and the old baggage of the past in order to forgive yourself, and by doing so enable you to release any harsh, critical, or incorrect judgments against others and potentially forgive the other person as well. Kind of heavy, but very cool. Very cool. Very promising in terms of what may be right under the surface, creating new land. See what's going on with the other person. We have Queen of Pentacles. So you may be dealing with an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. Someone, even if they aren't an earth sign, someone who's very grounded, someone who's very stable right now. They're usually very nurturing. When I think of Queen of Coins, I think of someone who has just cooked a big meal for all these, it's like maybe an innkeeper for all the guests and maybe has lots of children around. They're just very nurturing, caring, stable. They're good with money. They make good, logical, practical decisions. They're kind of like the salt of the earth. So that's how they're showing up right now. They may just have their stuff together. In their shadow side, they have interesting Hierophant in reverse. Now, Hierophant represents conventionality, traditionalism, marriage, spirituality, higher teachings, things that have to do with society and groups and the norms and conventions of society. With this in reverse in the shadow position, there's something that they're avoiding in terms of Hierophant energy. So it may be avoiding the idea of marriage. It may be avoiding a certain spiritual truth. It may be not wanting to do things in a conventional manner or a traditional manner. It may be wanting to buck the system a little bit, or be a little bit rebellious. Sometimes that can show up. But it's not something that they're necessarily aware of, but this is something that's percolating under the surface. They may be saying, why am I not married? Or why am I wanting to go against the stream of normal convention? Why? They may be, it's because it's a shadow card for them. It's not at the level of their consciousness right now, but it may be coming to the surface. Those themes, things against tradition, against conventionality, against societal norms, that kind of thing is maybe going on for them. And for some of them too, I'm getting that they may be stepping away from some of their religious backgrounds. Some of them may be questioning or beginning to have thoughts of questioning their religious upbringings. For what's passing away, more major arcana here, Empress in reverse. Someone may have gone through a miscarriage. Sometimes that can happen with Empress in reverse because she represents pregnancy. So there may have been a miscarriage in this person's past, whether they're male or female. It may be too that they're letting go of any sort of ideas of lack or that they can't have it all. Because Empress represents abundance and prosperity, letting all good things come to you, feeling satisfied, feeling completely fertile and growing. Everything she touches just grows. And so they may be letting go of an idea of being a parent, for example. Because this is in the passing away position, they may be letting go of doubts, fears, or resistance to having it all. And with these two cards together, these are both very prosperous cards. I'm seeing them looking at each other. So they may have had a fantasy idea prior of like them being in an authority position, them being a parent, them being... sometimes Empress in reverse can be a little bit of superficiality that is passing away. But they're actually in a place now where it's really grounded. It's very practical. It's very much saying, I'm this nurturing, caring person, even if maybe I'm letting go of the idea of being married and being a parent. Potentially. I'm throwing out all these different meanings of these cards because it's being a general read. I know some of this is going to hit for some of you. Some of the meanings will apply for some of you, and some of the meanings will apply for others of you. And then what's coming in is some truth. Oh, I love this for your other person. They're going to be really clear about saying what their truth is, and it's going to be the younger side of them. Page of Swords usually represents a young person who is carrying a sword and saying, this is true for me. You know how kids can sometimes be very blunt and just say exactly what's on their mind? Like they can say, you look really bad today, or whatever it is that comes out of their mouths because they're so honest. Page of Swords energy can be like that. It's very blunt, but it's very honest. And it's not always graceful. It can be clumsy. It can be like a blunt-edged sword. You know, it's like a kid running with scissors. It can be sharp, but the beautiful thing about Page of Swords is that it's a young person standing on the top of a hill and saying, this is what I think. This is true for me. I want to declare it to all the world. These are my beliefs. I often think of like young college students who have discovered a cause and they're willing to crusade for it. This is very much a crusader card to me. And Page of Swords I love because he just declares his truth. Male or female, again, could be she just declares her truth. But they're willing to stand at the mountaintop and say, this is my truth. Look at this for all to see. These are my words. This is what is my truth. And they're willing to declare it. So I'm really seeing the other person as being very honest, and maybe even saying from the younger part of themselves, this is something I want, or this is something I believe. They're being really honest. So I'm really liking that. Potentially it could mean a air sign person as well, so Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra. But I'm kind of getting that these are two different sides of the same person. It's potentially that they're showing up as a very mature, responsible, nurturing, caring person, but I'm also getting that there's this sort of new, fresh, young energy from them where they're saying, hey, this part of me exists too. This is what I want. This is my truth. I'm willing to stand up and declare it. So I really see this as being like a treasure, honestly, Aries, with this other person. And then the Hermit is showing up for them. Now, hermits are often in isolation. That is the definition of a hermit. And he's looking for answers. So it's really interesting we're getting 3 different ages for this other person. Their current adult self, the younger side of them, and then the old sage version of them, which is holding up the light. You know, Hermit can be quite a teacher. He's got wise words. But he's looking for answers, especially related to his truth. Again, it could be his or hers. But Hermit, it's very interesting. Hermit is a very spiritual card. He listens. He clears out all the stuff. And I'm actually seeing it as related to Hierophant in reverse. He clears away all the nonsense that the world offers. Like all the media, television, other people's opinions, all the chatter and gossip. And he doesn't care about any of that. He only cares about what's absolutely true. And absolutely true for him as well as everyone else. So I'm really seeing him holding up this lantern to this sword. This is the sword of the truth. And saying, you know, I'm really holding this up for everyone to see. I'm standing on this mountaintop. That's actually one of the things that's common between both of these cards, is they're standing up for everyone to see. I'm almost getting like a Moses moment where they're holding up the words on the tablet saying, this is what I have to say.